We are recording.
We are gifted in life. Oh, but our lovely precious dream to be young, gifted in life. Open your heart to what I mean. In the whole world, you know, there's a million boys and girls who are young, gifted in life, and that's a fact. We must begin to tell our young. There's a world waiting for you. This is the quest that's just begun. So when you're feeling real low, there's a breakthrough. You should know. Souls intact. We must begin to tell our youth when you're young, gifted in black. Oh, how I've longed to know the truth. There are times when I look back and I'm haunted by my youth every day. But my joy of today is a beacon or I'm saying when you're young, you're feeling like when you're middle-aged, and you know where it's at. When you're young, you're feeling like that's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's where it's at.
Yes, we have Nina Simone bringing us into Community Voices this morning right here on KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. This is your host, the Reverend Doctor. You can call me Denise. We are super excited for this show. Want you to know that it is a pre-recorded show. This is a pre-recorded show. The phone lines are not open. The phone lines are not open, but you can still hit us up. You can call the office at 501-372-6119 for your comments, whatever you want to say in response or in reaction to the show. You can hit me up directly at area code 228-236-7440. Either way, you can have your comments heard. It's just not now because this is a pre-recorded show, so the phone lines are not open. But I do want to say Sawubona to you this morning in the spirit of this Zulu tribal greeting, which means we see you, we respect you, we celebrate you, we honor the whole of who you are. You don't have to check any of your identities before you come into this space. Bring the whole of who you are, and we will honor you and celebrate you. We will see you, we will respect you, we will hear you, and we will take issue with you and challenge you you and disagree with you. Like all of that can happen in this space, because what binds us is not the identities that this world has given us. What binds us is the spirit of our humanity that cannot be disconnected. So in that spirit of oneness, you are invited in this space where we always center Blackness, but in the context of the whole of humanity, where we are trying to figure out how we gonna get free. Because if I ain't free, you ain't free. And if you're free and ain't free, you ain't free and I ain't free. So we are all connected in this struggle toward liberation. And I am super excited for this conversation that we are going to have, because we have a special guest in the house. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Those of you who can see us on Facebook, you already, look at that smile. You already see it. You already see it. Those of you who are listening, you need to know, like, I don't really have very many words to share to give you some kind of descriptor. I can say this woman's Black. Okay, that's enough of a word. Woman, that's enough of a word. Intellectual is enough of a word. Black excellence, that's 2 words. Like, all of these are descriptors, but I don't want to describe her for her. I want to be like Audre Lorde. I want to give her an opportunity to define herself for herself. So we'll do that in just a minute. But first, I need to make this announcement. Those of you who are super excited to see Isabel Wilkinson, who is the author of Caste, The Origins of Our Discontent, she will be at the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts right here in Little Rock of 501 East 9th Street on Wednesday, September 25th at 6 p.m. I've already announced it. People were excited. Y'all called me afterwards. I was helping people get tickets, but now they are sold out. All of the tickets are sold out. So if you have tickets, but you know you are not going to show up in the space for whatever reason, no judgment, please relinquish those tickets. Please give us access to those tickets, because there are people who really want to go and they've missed the opportunity. Like, I want to go. They've missed the opportunity because it is sold out. Please, please, please. Even if you have 1 spare ticket, you got 2 and now you know you only need 1. We do want to make sure that as many people are able to show up in that space, we do want to make sure that they have that opportunity. So the event is sold out. If you have extra tickets, let us know. We absolutely need them. So I also want to make sure that we ground our space, not just in Nina Simone singing Young, Gifted, and Black, not just in the EJI tidbit that's going to come up in just a minute, but also in our gratitude for you. We realize and we recognize that KABF would not be here if it were not for you. The ways that you show up with your financial donations, you show up with your human resources, with information, with your physical presence in spaces when we have all these events, or we ask you to come register to vote. We ask you to show up to sign for an initiative to go on the ballot. All of the different ways that you show up for us to keep us alive on this air. We are grateful. We are one of only 12 100,000 watt local community non-commercial radio stations that exist in the United States. And it's only because of you. And now we got this platform that takes us globally. So you all are supporting us from all around the world. And we just want you to know, we don't ever want you to think that we have forgotten how important you are to us and how you make it possible for us to be here. So thank you for your presence in this space. However you show up, whenever you show up, thank you so much for being here. Again, this is a pre-recorded show with a special guest who I want to introduce herself for herself. Hey, Doctor.
Hello, Reverend Doctor. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm absolutely honored.
I'm so glad we finally got it to her. Yeah, we've been working on this for a long time. It's been a long time, like some months or something. Feel like some months, maybe 2 months.
Divine timing. This is
perfect.
Perfect.
Okay. Y'all got a Christian in the house. Y'all got you a Christian in the house.
It's true. But I'm glad to be here, and this is the perfect time, and I'm excited.
I'm glad. So will you tell us what you want us to know about who you are? If you want to tell us what you do, like whatever you want to share with us that's coming out of your own mouth about your own self that you want people to know, let us know who is. Introduce yourself to us.
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, my name is Brooke Montgomery. And as you also mentioned, I am a Christian. But the other elements of my identity that I want to really highlight, I'm the mom of 4. I am the wife of a Black man.
Because I sure asked him. I was like, is he Black? Because you never know these days. I just want to know. I'm just curious.
I am. He is Black, from Mississippi Black.
What? I'm from Mississippi. What part of Mississippi?
Super Black. From how well do you know Mississippi? So Tylertown.
Yeah.
He's about 45 minutes from there.
Oh, okay.
JS Mississippi. So shout out to all the Mississippi followers. a black-owned farm, black-owned whole little town.
What?
It's beautiful.
You didn't say that at first.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my
Okay, with the
Mississippi
black
man. Yes. So I'm also a behavioral scientist and I work in public health.
Okay. I want to take a moment for us to read our EJI tidbit. I know that you're not familiar with the show, Brooke, and that's okay. Can I call you? Do I need to say Dr. Montgomery?
Please don't.
Look. I want to pay honor and tribute because I know. Look, I know about writing them dissertations, honey.
Reverend Doctor. We're just gonna be Brooke and Denise. I'm so happy.
Okay,
with
great.
that.
I love being this Brooke and Denise. Okay, we always ground our space in a song that helps us to think about whatever the topic is going to be, and then also in the EJI tidbit. So there is an attorney. His name is Brian Stevenson, who is working a lot in the area of what I call criminal injustice, particularly as it relates to youth, because of the harsh sentences, the mandatory life sentences they were getting. So he's doing an amazing job in that field, and he runs this museum. It's called the Legacy Museum. It's in Montgomery, Alabama, and it's all about getting us to think about what the system of enslavement here on this soil has done to us, like how it started, like it's giving you the history, it's attaching it to the present, and they come out with this calendar every single year, and for every day of the year in every single month there's a tidbit that's tied to the racial injustice in this world that we continue to face. And so I lift up a tidbit every single Tuesday for us to think about, for us to consider, and to ground the conversation. So I knew I had you coming on. I knew you have 4 little ones. I knew you like Nina Simone. I know you like Young, Gifted, and Black. And so I'm like, all of this is on purpose. All of this is on purpose. But I want to let you know that in 2010, this actually happened on the 8th, on September 8th in 2010, officials at Kilby Correctional Facility in Montgomery, Alabama, prohibit an EJI client from receiving the book Slavery by Another Name, a Pulitzer Prize-winning book about the history of convict leasing in Alabama. So on September 8th in 2010, officials at Kilby Correctional Facility in Montgomery, Alabama, where the Legacy Museum is, they prohibit one of the clients of Brian Stevenson from receiving this book, which is entitled Slavery by Another Name, which is a Pulitzer Prize-winning book about the history of convict leasing in Alabama. They deny this client the opportunity to receive this information, to be educated about literally what he is experiencing. I think it's a man. And so when I thought about you, and I asked you, do you have a favorite song? Do you have a motivational song? Do you have an inspirational song? You said every morning you wake your children up with To Be Young, Gifted, and Black. I'm like, wait. You were like, yes, like that is important. And so it's important for you to pour into your youth, your children, who they are and what they are about and who they are created, who they have been created to be in this world. That's what I took from what you were saying. Now, is that why you do it?
Yes, and we all hate getting up in the morning.
I
hate the mornings.
I am not a morning person either. Oh,
now only my farm raised husband, he's up in the morning, just bright and cheery. But the rest of us, we need a little kick in the tail, and Nina gives that to us every morning,
every single morning. And so I thought it was there are plenty of arrangements of this song, plenty of people who cover the song. You can hear Donny Hathaway sing this song, but I really wanted us to use this particular arrangement because you can hear Nina's gifts and talents at the piano. I think sometimes when you hear Nina Simone, you think about Strange Fruit, or you'll think about Mississippi Goddamn, you'll think about the Four Sisters, you'll think about the Four Women, you'll think about songs that you've heard that kind of if you close your eyes and imagine, you can see her in this club, in this bar, in this juke joint, like playing these songs and having this crowd around her, or you can even see her at a church, maybe at a recital or something. But I want us to be reminded that this is a classically trained pianist, that she was set to go to Juilliard and could not get in because of her color. Like, so this is what we want to make sure that you don't forget, that we are gifted and talented in so many ways, so many more ways than this world allows for us to be, right? Like the world says you can only be this. If you Black, you are only this. But we are multifaceted. We have plenty of gifts and graces that go around, and we want to make sure that we don't lose sight of that. And that's what the Sawubona invites us to do. In the spirit of oneness, let me see the whole of who you are. Let me see you on full display. so much that you have to offer. And one of the phrases, one of the lines, the stanzas in the song is when Nina says, when you're feeling really low, there's a great truth that you should know, that when you are young, gifted, and Black, your soul is intact. I love that part right there. You need to know that you are young, gifted, and Black. And even if you are older than being young, you are still gifted and you are still Black and your soul is intact. Just your Blackness alone keeps you intact. So we have to fight against what the world is telling us. We have to fight against how the world is trying to shape us and know who we are. So I just thought that was so wonderful that you said, this is what I wake my children up to. I'm listening to these words. We're grounding it in this space to think about what it means to this world when you deny us an opportunity to receive the information and the education that we need. And so here we are with Nina being deprived the opportunity to get the education that she needed as a classical pianist that would have changed the trajectory of her life, right? And so now you have this tidbit that says this man is already, he's a client, he's already in a facility, and all he wants to do is be educated. Well, I'm already in here. I got some time on my hands. I want to be educated in this way. I don't want you to tell me how I'm gonna be educated. I want this book. And they say no. So you're depriving somebody of education and information. Why? Why do you want to do that? Because you don't want people to know and be in tune with the truth about things. Because once you know the truth, it helps to shape you in a different way. And it can also affect the trajectory of your life, which is why I thought it was so important, because here you are to give us information that can change the trajectory of some folks' lives, right? Like we're going to be talking about chronic illness, right? Especially in Black folks, especially in Black men, right? Isn't that what okay, so tell us what we're here to talk about.
So, I mean, I love how you're weaving all of these pieces together, because, I mean, isn't that what we all do, especially Black folk? You weave what you have together into a story, into a narrative, and you use exactly what you have on hand to make something beautiful. We've done it in the kitchen, we've done it in the fields, we've done it intellectually, musically. I'm trying to do it right here in my little pocket of research, where I'm weaving together my experiences and those things that I'm most passionate about to help others and to benefit our full community. So in the way that I do that is I'm thinking about my Mississippi husband, my North Carolina daddy, my two boys who are coming up right here in Arkansas, about being Black men in the South and their experiences and what really is going to allow them to be their best and full selves. We know that a lot of our Black men are not able to live the full, healthy lives that they could because of these different things that they've been denied. I'm looking particularly at economics. And how their economics and what they've been denied just in their paychecks, even they're working the same hours, doing the same good job, they're being denied the same amount of money that their white counterparts are typically paid, and how that impacts their health. And so that may be in any form. So I like to call my study disease agnostic. So it may not just be heart disease. It may be heart disease. It may be diabetes. It may be cancer. It may be, gout. It could be back pain. There's so many ways that stress and just poverty impact our bodies, and that will impact your risk of chronic disease. And so how much disability you have from those diseases, your ability to work, to get around, to continue to live a full and healthy life. So how can we maximize, particularly for Black men, because we know that they are dying earlier. They're not getting to the doctor soon enough. They're not getting full treatment. They're being denied access. How can we get them into medical spaces to get them to do health promoting behaviors, even in their own homes, so that they can live full and healthy lives? For me, I'm thinking about the racial wealth gap, what that is, and particularly the racial income gap. There's lots of proof from lots of big universities and big names that Black men typically make about 75 cents for every dollar that their white counterparts have. Same education level, same experience level. And it's not because of lack of work, it's not because of lack of savings, it is because of exploitation and denial of those same resources. So if temporarily, just for a small amount of time, we try to address that through guaranteed income, which is just unconditional, no strings attached, here's some money. What happens? What happens in their own lives? What happens to their families? What happens in their communities when they, just for a very small amount of time, are able to have just equal, just a little bit more to achieve their dreams and aspirations for the income they have coming in. That's what, I mean, it's really kind of simple, right?
No, I don't know. It might be simple to you since you with a PhD in the social health, with the social determinants of health. Okay, I want us to get into this, but I really, when we were talking and we were trying to figure this out, how to make this work for us, you mentioned John Henry, and you said it like you were talking to somebody who knew what you were talking about. You know, that's what we do sometimes. Those of us who are in spaces all the time, and we have this language in our own spaces, we typically carry that language wherever we go, right? And so you were talking about John Henry, and I was like, I take notes all the time. So I took it, I was like, let me take notes. And so I looked up John Henry until you were talking about coping mechanisms. And so then I looked up John Henryism. And so I was like, I'm fascinated by this because I had never heard of it before. And I'd love to research. I am a geek. I don't mind being called a geek. I don't mind being called a nerd. I don't mind being called any of those things. And so I looked it up, and I want, before we continue, because I really think it's important for us, when you talk about how there's this racial income gap where there are people who have the same level of experience, the same criteria, they're on the same level, they're on an even playing field, but their race is what causes them to be denied the access, to be denied the amount of money that they deserve. So when we're talking about this, when you are trying to live under those stressors, what happens to you and how that shapes you and how that shapes your behavior. I want for just a few minutes for you to just kind of ground us in that. What is that John Henryism? Like, what is that coping mechanism that was created by a Black man doctor? Okay, he coined the term. But can you talk to us about that as a way of kind of giving us some grounding information, some foundational information about how we operate, those of us who are treated this way because of our race?
Well, big shout out to Sherman James.
Black man doctor.
Yes. Just one of he's big time. He's amazing. And actually a really nice man. I got a chance to meet him.
Oh, did you?
Yes. So he's a lovely fellow and amazing mind. So what he did is he went and talked to people. He went out into rural North Carolina and went and talked to men, particularly in, I think it's called Pike County. He'll get mad at me because I'm about to mess that up. But they just went and talked about their experiences as Black men living in the South, trying to just earn money, earn enough for their families. And they kept talking about that work ethic. Well, if I just work hard, I'm going to push against these systems. I'm going to make this work. And it's these impossible systems that are waiting for you to fail. That Black people, we just constantly going to work hard enough. If I can just work hard enough, I can beat this system. And learning about it's called the John Henry theory of active coping, that it protects us mentally, because even though you have all this hate and racism and oppression and denial of access and opportunity, you still keep pushing. You still keep working harder and harder and harder against these systems.
But not just pushing and working, but believing, right? Because believing takes work too, right? Believing is work. So we're exerting this kind of mental energy, believing that if I work hard and I do better, then I'm believing that my life is going to be better.
And it's good for you mentally. It protects you mentally from all the stress and strain, but it deteriorates you physically. You know, the amount of, when you start getting into the little nerdy words of anti-inflammatory hormones and cortisol and all the things that the inflammatory processes that we know makes it more likely to get cancer, more likely to get diabetes, more likely to have heart disease. All those things are tearing down your body because you're fighting this impossible fight. So it's called John Henry because one of the people he interviewed was John Henry.
A sharecropper, right? Yeah, I told you that. Yes.
Right? I was like, that's unreal. This man's name is John Henry. But also the children's tale where a Black man was basically fighting against an engine, a steam engine. It's like who could lay down the railways faster. A Black man with his hammer, and he was so strong, and he kept. But then the white or train drivers or something like that. I need to do my homework. Sorry. The steam engine was going to put down more planks for the railroad than him, and so he's trying to compete against machinery. And it was this impossible task, but he beat him, only to die at the very end. Yep, he has a heart attack and he's dead.
So wait a minute. You just said a mouthful. So let's just pause for a moment. Because I think that this what happened. That's what's happening to people right now. I remember when I was a pulpit pastor, and I would have people who would, they would put off going on vacation. They would put off doing these things because they say, well, once I retire, then I'll be able to enjoy my life, right? And so they're working themselves to death. Like I'm working. You finally retire, and then your partner dies. Exactly. And so now you're not able to do this. So when you think about Black folks who are fighting against this impossible system, and we're gonna prove it to them. We're gonna work harder. We're gonna be the first one in the office and the last one to leave. Everything they tell us to do, we're gonna do. We're gonna find the gap and we're gonna fill it. We're gonna make ourselves invaluable. We're gonna do all of these things. All of this stuff, and then you win. You win in the workplace, only to die in real life, right? So then what have you really won? Have you won anything? And this reminds me, because I know you a Christian, this reminds me of that scripture that says, what profits a man to gain the whole world but yet lose his soul? So if your whole world is wrapped around proving to somebody that you are more than Black, and you're gonna work yourself to death trying to prove, like, what does it profit you to prove that to somebody, which doesn't need proving? Nina done already told us, if you young, gifted, and Black, your soul is intact. You already all you're supposed to be. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. So what good does it do to be able to make all of these gains in the workplace and then not have the body to enjoy the gains that you've made, right? Exactly. And so, girl, keep talking. I'm sorry, I just had to say
No.
I mean, it's just like,
oh my goodness, it all together. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, so we have to think about these things because we are pushing, because we feel some kind of way, right? We feel some kind of way about our heritage. We feel some kind of way about the fact that you humiliated our Black men, right? Like, what does it mean to be a Black man in this world? And what were we taught? We taught that you're supposed to provide. We're taught that you're supposed to protect. And when you think about the ancestry, our ancestors who were denied the opportunity to protect, right? You're humiliating our men in front of their wives and their children, and you are degrading them and dehumanizing them. Like, what does that do to your body? What does that do to your soul? What does that do to your mind? And then I'm gonna have to work to prove you wrong when you already wrong. Your description of me, your idea of who I am, all of that's already wrong. So why do we feel like we got to make it, like we got to prove ourselves? And all of this work that we are doing to get it right, to make it, to climb the ladder, all of these things, it does no service. It does not do a good service to our bodies. And that's what you are here to remind us of. And I was going to ask you, that was one of the words I wrote, one of the questions I was going to ask, why did you choose Black men? Because I'm like, Black women in the field, because I'm thinking about Black mortality, Black infant mortality rates. I'm thinking about Black women's mortality rates. I'm like, why she choose a Black man? But then I heard you say because the men are dying at a higher rate, and that's what made you choose that. We're going to pause for just a moment right here so that we can click off, so that we can make sure that this is easy for our engineer. Shout out to Mr. Russell. Woo woo! Makes it possible for us to pre-record our shows. So hold on just a minute. And we are back right here for Community Voices at KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. This is a pre-recorded show with your guest, the Reverend Dr. You can call me Denise, with Dr. Brooke Montgomery. You can call her Brooke. And we are right here talking about what it means to really delve into chronic illness as it relates particularly to Black men. And so we've been talking about that, and you've got a program going on, a study going on that you want to share with us. Talk about this study.
So we have what we're calling the Brother Study, and I'm just so excited about this work. I'm so excited about the team that I'm doing this work with and our community partners. Brother stands for Building Resilience and Opportunity Through Health and Economic Resources. Sorry, it is a building resilience.
Okay, BR.
And opportunity through
T.
health,
okay,
and economic resources.
Oh, it's brother. No S.
Brother Study.
Oh, the S is study. The S stands for study.
There you go.
Y'all worked hard on that one.
Right.
It took y'all a long time to come.
That's why community partners are key, because they came up with that. I was like, oh man, that is brilliant. What? Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm sorry. Building resilience through opportunities. Building resilience of opportunities through economic health and economic resources study.
Yes.
Okay.
Study.
Can we just call it the brothers?
And that's pretty much what we do.
Okay, all right.
The brother study. That's why we very rarely say the whole thing. It's always going to be very embarrassing. So yes, the brother study. And we are looking right here in Central Arkansas for Black men, self-identified Black men who are living with a chronic disease that's been diagnosed by a health professional. Don't just come and say, hey, I got flat feet. I've always had flat feet. We want diagnosed illnesses. So that could be anything though.
But wait a minute now. If you just talk to us about the fact that when we talk about John Henry and his theory and how he came about, you're talking about Black men who have been denied access, right? So how many Black men do we know that are out there who don't have access to healthcare? So for you to say, well, the only way you can join the study is if you have a diagnosis from a health care professional, it's like we just excluded part of the people that need to be in the study. So like, do y'all have some provisions that y'all make to say, can we diagnose y'all? Like, can the people come in and see, like, how does that part work? Because right now I'm like, say what now, bro?
That is such a good question. So that's what we're looking for: older men, 45 and older. So by the time you're 45, you at some point have been to a doctor. I mean, even if it was something that's like, I don't feel right. Because we know a lot of men will go to some type of medical care facility when they have a pain. When something's
got to be bad. In my family, it's got to be bad. You can have a pain, it's got to be bad.
Exactly. And so we're looking for those gentlemen who at some point you have gotten diagnosed with something, but you haven't been keeping up with your health care.
So they have to bring in something? They have to bring in some kind of form?
They don't have to bring in a form, but we are going to ask for access to your medical records so that we know that, So
that means they have to have a primary care physician?
They don't have to, because we're not checking at this point that at some point you were diagnosed with, it could be chronic pain, it could be migraines, it could be diabetes, it could be high blood pressure. That is something that you have that you're currently working with, but you aren't going to the doctor. So you haven't gone to the doctor recently. So even if you go to let's say the emergency
room. That's what I was thinking about.
Like if you go to the emergency room, you go to urgent care, that doesn't count. But you're supposed to be going to like a doctor, like a wellness primary care doctor for standing visits to just check in. Like, let me check on my sugar.
I just want for the record, I just want y'all to know that I take issue with this part of the program study design. But let's keep moving. We don't have to get stuck right here.
I like it.
Just for the people, for the record, look, like Kamala Harris for the people. Denise down there for the people. I just want you to know, I'm like, wait, what now? Okay, so you're looking for these men who are able to present to you that they have had they've had a medical professional diagnose them with some kind of pain. I really think that maybe we should spend some time talking about pain, because when I think about high blood pressure, I don't think about it in terms of pain. I think about it as a condition. I think about it as chronic, but I don't know if people who have high blood pressure are thinking that I'm in pain. Does high blood pressure, is it?
No, and that's why it's so important, because it's called the silent killer. So maybe they have even gone to like a health fair, at their church or something, and somebody's like, yo, you got some high blood pressure. That would count. That would count.
But that's not a medical doctor.
But a lot of times they have a nurse or something there, and they like, you need to go see somebody about this. And you may get it again, like, your pressure kind of high.
Yeah, my mom used to get at the Hayes Center.
Yeah, there you go. And so that would count. Like, it needs to be self-reported. I don't need to see, your doctor has signed off a waiver for you.
Okay.
But that is self-reported. Like, there's something I need to be keeping an eye on. And for whatever reason, you haven't gone to see a doctor recently about that issue.
But if the person is getting these checks done at places like Hayes Center or wherever places where people come and do these health fairs, that's not their medical record. Like, that's not, you said you need to have access to their medical record.
Eventually, so for the actual study, we're going to be checking when
they told you this, and now you need to go and actually see about it.
Well, hopefully they'll be getting more medication for it. So even when you get that medical diagnosis from the Hayes Center, you need to get some. They can't give you medicine,
right? They can't give you medicine.
They can't keep you, checked just to keep okay, you need some alpha blockers. I'm not an MD, but you need some type of medicine to get your, get this under control, because as you mentioned, high blood pressure doesn't give you a lot of pain, but it's damaging you inside. It's hurting your kidneys with that high blood pressure. It's hurting your heart with that high blood pressure. It's doing damage. We just don't know about it. And that's why it's so important that you're checking in at a doctor You know you have it, but you don't know how it's hurting you.
So then maybe we don't. Okay, maybe for me, I don't want to say it's about pain. So I don't want us to focus so much on pain because I don't want people to be like, well, I don't feel anything. So when you're talking about these chronic illnesses, you're talking about, again, you're naming them. We're talking about cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure. We're talking about
depression.
So it's not substance use disorder, anxiety. Okay. So you may not be feeling pain, but if you are experiencing these conditions, then you are the person. If you're Black and if you are male and if you are 45 years up to
however old.
You'd be 100.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're 45 years old, however old you are able to be a part of this study.
Yes,
and this study is what are they gonna do in this study?
So we are going to screen you, make sure you're eligible, because we also wanted people who are 400% of the poverty level are under. So these are people who maybe like the working poor, they're still living check to check.
Oh, like Alice. Have you heard about Alice? KABF is partnering with, I want to say the Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation, but I'm not really sure. But we're talking about Alice, asset limited, income constrained, employed. So these are people who are what you just said, the working poor. These are folks who are going to work every single day because they can't afford to miss work, because if you don't go to work, you don't get paid. And so they are working every day, and yet they do not have the financial resources to sustain themselves and their families in a way in which they deserve, in a way in which they ought to. And so they have named those people, there's a name for it, and they call them ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, employed. And so these are, you said 400%
of the poverty level for your household. So for a single man living alone, that's like about $50,000
a foot. So you're saying if you make 50,000, you qualify?
You can qualify.
But if you make less than 50,000,
then you definitely qualify.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say you looking for the 50,000. I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna be helpful.
That's the top.
Oh, okay.
And down.
So if one person is making 50,000, imagine you have a household of 2. If you're making 50,000, then you qualify. Exactly. You have a household of 3, and you're making 50,000, then you qualify. Okay. Yes. All right. Just want to make sure that people are understanding. We talking to you. You are who we're talking to, Black men, 45 and older, 400% of the poverty level. If you're by yourself in the house and you make 50,000, you qualify. If it's more than just you in the house and you make 50,000 or less, you qualify for this study. But you also sound like somebody can say, hey, I got this, and this, and y'all can turn them away. Because you said first thing y'all gonna do is see if they're eligible.
Yes, that is true.
So some people might get turned away. Like, let's just be real with the folks. Some of y'all may get turned away, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. It's super important because as we're gathering this information, we're trying to inform policies and programs of what is the best way to help support people in need. We know all about these different safety net programs and all the applications and all the red tape and the paperwork. You got to go to your case manager, blah, blah, blah. All that takes a lot of money.
And a lot of energy. And a lot of time. Yes. And I just told you I had to work.
Exactly. What if we just gave people money to help them do what they need to do for their living
so situation? So the study gonna give me some money?
There you go.
Wait, you didn't say that part.
I know. So but first part, as people are screened, we are randomizing them. So it's like a coin flip, flipping a coin into 2 groups. One group is going to get the actual, what we're calling guaranteed income supplementation, and the other group does not get that income supplementation. I know.
You're not helping me with this study.
I know.
I'm already mad about the fact that you got to have some paperwork. Now I'm going to qualify because I'm 400% of the poverty level in my household. So I qualify, and I'm Black, and I'm man, and I'm older than 40. I'm 45 or older, and I still might not get the money.
You're going to get some money, but maybe not the intervention amount. So think about it in the way of like a medical trial. In a lot of medical trials, you have the actual active drug and a placebo.
And so it's a fake pill.
The fake pill.
They give you a pill like you're supposed to think it's doing something, but really it's not. And so I'm gonna show up in the study, and y'all gonna give me some little money like y'all doing something, but really the other people get more money than me.
Exactly.
Y'all not gonna tell the people that the other people get more money than them, are you?
We are. We got to be honest with them. We got to be honest with them.
So now some people gonna drop out.
And that unfortunately people have.
Some people gonna drop out. They're gonna be like, what? Why you what?
But in the same Sawubona.
No, you ain't gonna use it.
It is all about the unity of the knowledge knowledge that we all need, so that it's not just one little research study. It's bigger programs that are nationwide that we're trying to help people in these different, like, all of us get ahead. But if we don't have science behind the decisions we're making, we can't make informed choices.
But I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. A part of me really gets frustrated with all of these studies because I personally feel like I don't think you need another study to let you know that Black people, and in this case, Black men, that they are disproportionately affected by all of these chronic illnesses. Like, do you really need another study to tell you that Black people are disproportionately affected by this? Like, how many studies are out there, right? Like,
no, you're right. And that's actually what I love about this study, is because we're not just looking for the disparities. We know they're there. Like, let's stop doing all the disparity studies. How are we going to fix it?
Okay.
And so that's what we're really looking at is this helping anybody? How can we fix it? How can we make better programs to do something differently? And so this is one of the first different grants that is looking at how to address structural racism, not just measure it, not just say it's there. What can we do about it? And honestly, I don't know if this is going to fix it or not. But if we don't ask the question and design rigorous studies to answer that question, and have beautiful people who are allowing us to gather their data and answer those questions, even if they're not getting money, then we can't make informed decisions about, okay, this didn't work. What else can we do?
Yeah, but to me, it's okay. So a person wants to be a part of this study, the brothers study. We're just gonna say brothers. We're not gonna try to do the whole acronym because we ain't good with it. But the brothers study, they want to be a part of it. They need to know that there are 2 tracks, and you might be on the track where you're gonna get some money, but you're not gonna get the amount of money that we think that the study thinks is the most effective amount of money, right? And you're doing this so that you can figure out how to combat structural racism. And personally, I feel like, I'm for the study. I really am, but I don't think this is the answer to structural racism. Like, I don't think giving Black men more money is going to dismantle the system of structural racism. Like, if
agreed.
Okay. Because I thought you was like, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out, if we give you some more money, will that help us figure out what to do about structural racism? I'm like, I don't think giving us more money answers that question. Now it does, but you're saying, okay, but it gives us some information that can inform policy so that we can make better decisions about how we handle your beautiful Black sacred king body. And that's important information for us all to have, right? So that's what you're saying. Okay.
It's a small piece. So I don't want to overemphasize. It's a small piece, a small piece of the question, which is much bigger. And there are lots of brilliant minds across the country who are trying to look at ways to answer this question. For us here in Arkansas, there may not be the same big statewide policies that are addressing things systemically. We've got to see, like, okay, can the redistribution of wealth, even just a little bit, what does that do?
Yeah, but you said, when you were talking about this, you said it's for a small amount of time. So it's not like
6 months.
Okay, so people are going to get this little money or a little more money for 6 months.
Yes,
and that's it. And then after that, the study is over. Your study is over in 6 months. Is that what it is? The grant?
12. We got 12 months. So we have 3 different points in which we're asking big questions. So that's that. At enrollment, we ask a big set of questions at 6 months and at 12 months. One of those elements right after we finish those first big set of questions is the randomization, where it's flip of a coin if you're going into the arm that's getting that supplemented income, which is $500 a month for 6 months, or if you're going into the what we call the control arm, where you do not get that supplemented income. And we're just trying to see, okay, well, how is your life going? Live life. We're not trying to draw any blood. We're not telling you go exercise. We just keep living your life. We also have every week on their cell phones or mailed to their house, how are things going? Have you gotten pulled over by the police? How your bills going? How stressed out are you? How many cigarettes are you smoking? How much are you drinking? Just measuring stress and seeing how people are just coping day by day by day. And if the experience of having a little bit of supplementation makes that daily struggle, particularly for Black men, who we know are more likely to have, evictions, to have, be pulled over by the police, all those things that happen externally, by having a little less financial stress, what happens?
How much are the people getting in the other arm? You told us $500 for 6 months for the people in the supplemented part, but then you said the other people are not going to get as much, but they're getting something. What are they getting?
They get the payments for their data. So everybody who spends any amount of time helping us with this research project, they will get paid for their time and their contribution. So we're not, we don't want to be an additional burden. Like, man, you're taking all my information and you're not even paying me for my time. So still, we're paying them for their time of doing the assessments, but it does not have that extra layer of supplementation.
So everybody's going to get paid for their time and their assessments. Yes. And then some group, that one group is going to also get the $500. Yes. Okay, I want to make sure that everybody is clear because we want people to come into the study. We want you to come in freely and willingly. Then we're in the spirit of transparency, knowing that it is possible for you to get into the arm that does not receive the $500 of supplemented income for the 6 months. But that does not mean that your participation is not valuable and very much needed. And we are asking for it. We need, because is that what you're doing? Y'all recruiting now? Like, what's the time frame for the recruitment?
We are recruitment. I'm working with this amazing team of 8 other people who, are out there in communities, and we're trying to just inform people about the study, the questions we're asking, and if they would be interested in participating.
So then how the people that are listening to us now, the people that are watching us now, like how, if they say, I want to do this, like what do they need to do?
Okay. So we've got a phone number to call.
Okay.
We've got a website.
Okay.
We've got an email. Any way you can come talk to us. And I got the number that quick. Oh my goodness.
So while she pulling up the number.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
I
know my computer went off. I told you I wouldn't tech savvy.
But we are going to also include this. We always do a follow-up, a thank you to the person who was the guest, and we include ways that we can contact you. So we will also make sure that, because you did email this to me.
Yes.
Make sure that we have this flyer so that I can post it and people will know. But thank you. Tell us.
Yes. So this is the number to our study office where one of our amazing team members will answer the phone or give you a call back immediately. And it is 501-291-1049. I'll say it again. 501-291-1049. And so that's directly to our study office.
But that is not directly to Brooke. So those of you who are like, hey, can I speak to Brooke? That's not her phone number. Talk to whoever answers the phone. Tell them what your concerns are. You can say you heard Brooke on the radio, but don't ask to speak to Brooke. That's not her phone number. Okay?
But they can talk to me. I'm just on the other next door.
I'm just saying they don't need to say, may I speak to Brooke?
Hey, where's Brooke on this?
So
yes, that is our study number. We also have a website, which is www.s-pac.org.
s-pac.org.
Yes. Okay. And so on that, you can see our study team pictures. You can see what the study is about, frequently asked questions, and you can even do the screener right there online. Just click it and it'll take you to our database, and you can do the screener and see if you're eligible right there online without having to talk to anybody.
So for the people who are not tech savvy like you, for those people who are calling in on the phone, is the person on the phone going to take them through the screen?
Yep.
Or do they do not have to show up? They don't have to come to you? Will you come to them?
Yes, we will definitely come to them. If you have a church function or a group of people, we're trying to be out in all throughout the central Arkansas area doing those screeners, talking to people. So we've been at back to school bashes and health rallies, particularly for different organizations that serve individuals who have a history of incarceration or criminal justice system involvement. We've been doing a lot of those advocacy fairs because there is an element of the study where we're trying to see, is there an additive effect? You're a Black man with a chronic disease. And what about if you have a recent history of incarceration? How does that also impact your access to
and if you're still on
resources?
paper, you on parole, that's
Exactly.
another layer. Right? What if you have children?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yes. So we're looking at all of those things. And you're right. At first you're like, okay, well, you think about women, you think about children. We want to make sure that we're also thinking about men because there are a lot of different social service programs targeted particularly to children. But a lot of times we forget about our men, and our men are dying at a very high rate. And so we want to think
because we're getting killed.
Well, that's true.
The other part is that we're killing ourselves by doing all of this work, trying to prove to a system that we're worthy when we don't have to do that because it's messing with our bodies. And that's what you're talking about here. So we only have a few more minutes. I want to make sure that I just carve out some time for me to be quiet and for you to tell us like anything else you want us to know, anything else you want to add, anything else you want to say, so that we can have all of this information right here recorded. We are going to give them the flyer. We're going to post that, and then we will remind them of the number. We'll remind them of the website address. We'll do all of that. We'll take care of that part. Anything else you would like to say about your work, about your study, because you're not doing just this. So just whatever else you want to let us know. If you have anything, you might say I don't have nothing, but it's up to you.
Well, I do want to mention that there is an additional element to this study for gentlemen who are living with HIV as their chronic disease, that they can be younger than 45. Because we know for a lot of those men, they contracted HIV at a younger age. And so now they're living with a chronic disease that needs, very regular medical attention. And so they can be as young as 25 if they're living with HIV.
That's important to know.
Yeah, still self-identified as a Black male, but that if they can be as young as 25 if they're living with HIV.
Well, you keep saying self-identified. I didn't know if I wanted to go here, but I really
go
want to
for it, girl. I love the question. I love it.
So when you say self-identified as a male, does that mean that if I am a trans man and I identify as male, I'm Black, I identify as male, but I am a person of trans experience. If I identify as male and I am Black, I identify as Black, can I be a part of this study?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to make sure, because I was wondering why you keep saying if you self-identify. I'm like, I think that's a cute. I feel like I feel like you're dropping some crumbs right there. Like if I self-identify. So if I am a person of trans experience and I identify as a man and I identify as Black and I'm 45 years old or older, and I'm not living with HIV, I qualify from 400% of that poverty level, which is $50,000 or below for one person. Yes. And then if I self-identify as a Black person, as a Black person who is male, and I am 25 or older living with HIV, then I'm also eligible under the 400% poverty line to be part of this study. Okay. Anything else you want us to know?
Oh my God, that's so good. I don't know. I feel like your questions, they challenge me. I'm a behind the scenes kind of gal.
I can't tell you. Y'all should see how she walked up in here. Hey, I'm like, hey, doctor. Talking about behind the scenes. Okay. Who look like this behind the scenes? I want to know who look like this behind the scenes. Okay.
Me, I want to be in front of a computer, behind the book. We have an amazing team of, individuals who are out there, talking to folks. So shout out to our brother team. Who have a lot of the lived experiences for the people we're trying to serve.
Okay. Oh, great. So representation matters.
Yes, very, very much so.
That is important to us too.
And that just makes my heart glow.
So you're going to talk to somebody that could be Black.
Will be Black, probably.
Okay. Say that. Look, I'm just trying to make sure.
Yeah, we have all the representatives. We got a Delta, we got a Zeta, we got me, so we got that representation.
Oh, she said me. She mean AKA. All right, come on. She's talking about Delta, Zeta, then me.
Me.
Sigma, Gamma, Rho. No. Okay, right. You just don't say that. AKA's in the house. Okay, don't get us started. Don't get us started. I want to say anything.
But we also have men. More importantly,
we have men. Yes, because that's who's part of the study. Yes. The study's focusing on men, so we absolutely have Black male representation that are going to be working with you. Absolutely. So, you got like 30 seconds if you want to say something else. You want to say something else? This is the time.
Gratitude for having me here.
Oh, and I just want to put you in remembrance of your words. We were talking. You were like, hopefully this could just be like a jumping off point. Like maybe you'll come back and talk some more.
I would love to.
And I want you to come back in 12 months too. Like, because we don't like it when y'all get our stuff, even if you're paying for it. Like you get it, and then we don't know what happens. So like, what did y'all do? What did y'all learn? What did y'all find? Like, what's the next step? Like, what's going on? Like, we want to know. Like, we want to be kept abreast all along the way, because I already have another question about like what happens to the people that's getting the $500 and then all of a sudden it stops after 6 months. I done got used to $500 and now I don't have anymore. Like, I think that's a conversation for us to have, right?
No,
like,
it is.
But we don't have the time now, because this is what happens when you're listening to Community Voices right here live at KABF. Well, this is a pre-recorded show on KABF 88.3 FM. Our special guest, our community voice for this week has been Dr. Brooke Montgomery. All right, are in the house talking about the work for the Brother Study, recruiting people. We want you to be a part of it. Again, the number is 501-291-1049 for more information, or you can browse the website at www.s-PAC, P as in Paul, A as in Arthur, C as in Charles.org, and you can get that information there. Thank you so much for joining us. We cannot wait to be right back with you on Thursday for the Health Corner. This is the third Thursday, so Thursday, right here, 9 o'clock will be the Health Corner. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We'll see you soon.